Okay, so we'll start with the last topic, HANA Cockpit 2.0. So what is the use of the HANA Cockpit 2.0? So basically, my screen visible, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so HANA Cockpit is basically is used for monitoring and troubleshooting purpose. The same like whatever we do through the HANA Studio, the same thing we can do from the HANA Cockpit as well. HANA Cockpit in 1.0 is inbuilt. So when you install the HANA 1.0, then the HANA Cockpit installed by default. But in HANA 2.0, if you install HANA Database 2.0, then HANA Cockpit is not there. So HANA Cockpit 2.0 is the separate installation. Okay, using this you can monitor your remote systems, remote database like you can monitor your production, non-production in through the HANA Cockpits. So we do the installation. We have to install the HANA Cockpit servers on the servers. Okay, and then after that, once the installation is done, so installation is very simple. Okay, few steps are there only. The same steps which we use for the HANA database installation, same thing is there. But this installation takes a lot of time. So almost 1 hour it takes for the installation. Once the installation is completed, at the end it will show you the two URLs. One URL is the HANA Cockpit Managers and second is the HANA Cockpit Launchpad. So once HANA database is HANA Cockpit is installed, whatever the database you want to monitor through HANA Cockpit, you have to integrate. So you have to integrate your database, remote database, whatever the database you want to monitor in HANA Cockpit Managers. So there a lot of steps are there, few steps are there. Those are very easy. Once that is done, then you can monitor the database through HANA Cockpit. The URL you have to use that the HANA Cockpit Launchpad. Okay, so we'll see that how to install HANA Cockpit, and then later I'll show you that how to configure. So I have already downloaded the media. Okay, so we have the HANA Cockpit media here. If you see, then this is the SAR file which we have to extract. So I already extracted. If it's look like this, okay, then you have to use this one, okay, and then ignore parameters. Okay, let me copy it. Okay, so I'll ignore the signature files. Sorry. So here, so whatever the database is there, so this is our existing system which is installed. Okay, so the SAP advised that you have to install the HANA Cockpit on the separate box where nothing is running. Okay, so in your project, if you are planning for the HANA Cockpit 2.0, then install the HANA Cockpit on separate servers. So here we have to choose installed the number 5. Okay, choose number 5, and then the installation path, that is the HANA shade. We require the HANA shade. Okay, then this is the virtual, this is the local host name, same as now. Here you have to provide the SIDs. Okay, so by default SID is H4C. So if you don't change the SID, so it will go with the H4C SID. So by default it is H4C. If you want to change, you can change it like S4D something. Okay, and then instance number by default it is 97. Okay, if you want you can change it whatever you want to use. For example, I'm going to use example 60. Okay, okay. So this SIDs and the instance number you have to choose. If you don't choose, then it will install by default. By default is the H4C and the instance number is 97. Okay, so advisable always uh, use your own SIDs and the instance numbers. Okay, now if you see here, once I press enter, then it will ask you, it will ask the master password. Okay, provide the master password. Okay, and then enter. That's it. Confirm master password. That's it. So this is only information we have to provide during the HANA cockpit installation. If we see what we have given, we have selected new installation, install new HANA cockpit. Okay, if you see that what is the version, we have this version HANA cockpit 2.0, the SP12. Okay, in that patch 16 is there. So this is the latest one. Okay, so we have given this input only. Okay, once you give the password, it will show you the summary. Okay, this is the summary. So most of the things it took by default, so we don't need to change anything. So we have to provide this information and the rest will it pick automatically. So in the HANA share it will create a data and the logs. Okay, by default. If you see HANA shared data and the logs for the HANA cockpit, because it doesn't hold any users data. So only one file system is required, that is the HANA share. Inside that HANA share, it will create the data and the logs for the HANA cockpit. Okay, so rest are the same. So whatever we do, so it pick by default. Okay. So after the installation, the one user ID is created. Okay, that is we call cockpit admin. This is the cockpit admin. If you see that, this cockpit admin. This cockpit admin will be created after the installation. So we have to log in with the cockpit admin. Okay, and the password is the master password. So this is the default users which is created by default, and the password is the master password. Okay, okay. Then after that, rest are same. So what it will do? Okay, so during the HANA cockpit installation, it install the HANA database, this version. Okay, HANA 2.0 46. Okay, then on top of that it install the HANA cockpit, then advanced component like XX engine. Okay, and some other XXA cockpit. Okay, so that's the reason it takes a lot of times. Okay, so once you press Y, then it will start installing. Okay, so we will not going to do that one. Okay, so yesterday I already installed. Okay, so I have the screenshot, I have pasted here. So you can install it with once once the session is completed, then you can install it. Okay, so yeah, with your you can use your own SIDs and then instance number. So I have took the default one. If you see here, H4C 96. Okay, okay, and then here if you see that this is already default. Okay, I press yes, and then after pressing yes, it will start installing, but it will take almost 45 to 1 hour for the installations. So it is the same like HANA database installations. Okay, it's install the resident HDBL database, then XX advanced runtime, then some packages. So this takes a lot of time. Okay, once the installation is done, okay, so you will get at the end like this. Then at the end it is installing the HANA cockpit. This HANA cockpit runs on the XX engine. Okay, this XXA advanced XX engine. So it required. So it install the database, then SA engine, and then HANA cockpit. So you will get at the end you will get this screens. Okay, HANA cockpit system installed. That means that you have installed successfully. Okay, and also you will get this also. So if you see that this first URL is the HANA cockpit. Okay, HANA cockpit, that is we call the launchpad. Okay, and the second, this is one the launchpad. Okay, HANA cockpit, a launchpad, Fury launchpad, we can say that. And this is the HANA cockpit managers. If you see that here it is mentioned HANA cockpit managers. So SAP HANA cockpit managers basically is used to integrate your database, whatever the database you want to monitor to the HANA cockpit. Okay, once this is done, we have to open the HANA cockpit manager URLs in the browsers. Okay, and then we do the rest of activity. Okay, so let's start. So I'm not going to continue for the installation. I'll put the no. Okay, yeah. Uh, okay, let me cancel it. Fine. So what I'll do, I will open this one. Okay, so if you see that this URLs, if you open this URL from your laptop or desktops, it won't, open. Okay, you have to maintain some, you have to maintain the host and the IP details in your laptop. That is the in uh, what we call that. It is your host file. Okay, so how to do that one? So you just go to the run and then open and then type the drivers, then this will open Windows System 32 drivers, then etc. Inside that host file is there. Okay, open it with the notepad and then you have to maintain this one. This is the IP address of my servers and this is the DNS name, that is the host name for the my servers in cloud. Okay, so this entry you have to maintain. Okay, so I'll ping you this entry. Okay, without this entry you cannot able to access the systems. Yeah, you cannot able to access the URLs. Okay, so I'll ping I'll ping you the host name you have to maintain in your laptops. Once you're done with this one, then you can open the URLs. Okay, let me close this one. Okay, now first you have to open the HANA cockpit managers. Okay, copy and then open the browsers. Okay, I already opened, let me close. So it takes some time. Okay, so yeah, so even if you installed and then you stop the HANA cockpit and then you again start the HANA cockpit, then almost it will take around 10 to 15 minutes to start completely. Okay, so if you try to access the these URLs after you restart immediately, if you access, then you will see that 500 internal errors because it takes a lot of times to load all these services. So you have to wait for 10 to 15 minutes to completely start the HANA cockpit. Now here we what user ID we have to use. So I'm in HANA cockpit manager URL. Okay. So what we have to use? So here you have to use the HANA cockpit admin. Okay. Cockpit admin. Okay. Sorry, this cockpit underscore admin you have to use. Okay. And the password is welcome one. So initially this cockpit underscore admin doesn't have the doesn't have the complete permissions to use the HANA cockpit managers. So once you log in, it will pop up that you want to grant all the cockpit roles to this users. Yeah, then there we have to select yes. Yeah, if you see not authorized. So here you have to grant SAP HANA cockpit manager access to the cockpit admin. Click yes. All the roles will be assigned to the cockpit underscore admin. Yeah. Now you have to log out and the login again. When it's okay, it will automatically log out and then it will automatically log in. Just you have to provide the user ID again, cockpit, and then password, a welcome one. So it takes time. So wait. Yeah. So you will see this screen. So here, if you see, we have logged into the cockpit manager, and here we have the resource, database, cockpit users, settings, and other things. So what is that? So registered database. In the registered database, we register the database which we want to monitor. So remote database we are talking about. Okay. So like you have development, quality, and the productions HANA database. So you can register your database in the uh, registered database under this tab. We can say that. At database groups, inside that you can create the groups like prod, non-prod, something kind of, and you can put your SIDs in the groups. Cockpit users, you can create a cockpit users. Okay, like if you have many basis people L1 to L1 or L2, and you want them to monitor the database to the cockpit and a cockpit, then you create the users and then assign some roles, monitoring roles, and then they can use the HANA cockpit Fury Launchpad and they can monitor the database. The cockpit setting default is there, don't change anything. Active session means how many users or a session are currently active in HANA cockpit. It will show you that. XXA logs means it will show you the logs. Okay, if you want to do some, if you want to check some logs and all that. Okay, so that is not required. Now what we will do, we will register one remote database. Till now you guys clear or any questions?
It is clear.
Okay. Now what we will do, we will register one database here. I need your help to identify which database is yours so that I can start. If you know the password and all that, so let me log in because I installed and I uninstalled my database, so I don't have anything now. Which one is your? If you can help me. HD one. What is that? ATC, SCP, nothing.
Mine is HTV.
So you know the password, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me start this HDV. Login with HDV ADM. Then start SDB. So we will integrate this database in HANA Cockpit, and we'll see that the steps and all that. Till then it is starting. I'll create the groups. So here I'll create a one groups. Okay, called non-production. Okay, for example, this HDV is the non-production. Okay, so just click on the database group. It will open like this, database group details. Then here we have the create groups. Click on the create groups, and then you can provide the group name like non-prod, prod something. You cannot specify the production, then test, then custom, then developments. Okay, these groups are predefined in the HANA cockpit. You cannot create those groups. Why? Because when we install the HANA database, that time it asks us uh, it asks us the select the system types: development, quality, development, test, custom, and then productions. So those names you cannot use. You can use, dev, then test. Your test you cannot use, QA, quality, but those whatever there in the SDB LCM, the names, those you cannot use as a group. So it is predefined in the HANA cockpit. So I'm using non-prod, or you can use dev, QA, okay, like this. So I'm just giving the group name, the non-prod, then click on the steps 2. Okay, then don't register anything, I'll register after that. Okay, then click steps 2, and then here you can specify the users. So we'll create the users later as well. I'm just creating an empty groups, so that when I do the registration, so during the registration I will assign this non-group, non-production to that groups, that systems. Okay, now go back, okay, to main screen. Let me see if the database is started. Yeah, database is started. The failed process HDB index server SDI is not running. Okay, it is some having issue. Fine, so index server is not running. Okay, so you have the password, right?
Yes, I have the password here.
Are you able to share your password, or how it is?
It's the same. It's welcome one.
Okay, welcome on capital W, right?
Right.
Fine. So you can integrate the system DB and the tenant database, uh, everything you can integrate. So I'll show you that how to integrate the system DB, and the same procedure is there for the tenant database as well. Yeah, so common procedures. So click on the register database to register the remote database which you want to monitor. Then click on the register database. Okay, now here you have to provide the host name. So whatever the database you want to register. So if you see that here you have two types of database name, the naming convention: use system generated names or provide user defined. If you provide a user defined, then you have to provide the, you can use any, you can use like this, HDV. You can give the names, anything, HDV, system DB, something like this. So always use the, use system generated. Okay, so it will be like this database and then systems. So here they provide the host names. So my host name is HANA VMs. Then instance number. The instance number is 01. Okay. So whatever the database you want to integrate or monitors, you have to provide the details for that database. Now here select whether it is single container or multi container. If it is HANA 1.0, then you select single container. If it is HANA 2.0, then select multi containers, and in that what you want to add. So here I am going to add the system database. If you want to add tenant database, you just select tenant database and then provide the tenant database name. Okay. Now here I am going to use the system DB first. Okay. And then tenants, I think some having the issue is not created, so will no issue. So procedure is the same for configuring these systems or tenants. Once you have done with all the inputs, then just click on the step 2. Now here we don't have the encryptions. Okay, so uncheck all these things. Okay, and then click steps 3. Then here you have to provide the user's name. So this username is for the HDV. Okay, so this systems. So this one, this systems. Okay, so provide the user's name systems. Okay, and then password of the system database. Okay, so using this users, so this is a technical users. Using this users, the cockpit manager will be connected to the remote database. Okay, so it will use the systems and then password whatever it is. Okay, so this is your the credential of your remote database which you want to monitors. Click next. Then here you can specify the groups, whether the systems is belong to prod or non-prod. You select it based on whatever the groups you have created. Okay, and then okay, and then steps 5. This is optional. If you want to give, you can give, otherwise no issue. Just click on the reviews, just check once, just review. Okay, all good. Then click on the registered. Here is the bottom. Then it will take some few minutes and it will register the database, adding database to the selected groups. Okay, now it is added. So you will see your system DB at SIDs. So if you see that it fetch the all the data, okay, like HANA 2.0, the version, and then this system install as a custom systems. Okay, so users type is a customs. Okay, and then versions. So this all is fetch automatically. Now what we have to do next? Okay, now we have to open the URLs, the Fiori Launchpad URLs, and we'll see that, okay, whether this is reflecting there or not. Okay, so let me go back here. You can also, if from here, if you see that, go to the SAP HANA cockpit. If you click here, then it will automatically go to that the Launchpad, the links. So I'm clicking here. So it is the same link which is there in the installation, the first one. Either you can use this link or you can click from the HANA cockpit managers. Okay, so it will ask the user ID, use the cockpit managers, cockpit admin and the master password. Okay, so it won't ask because already I have logged in with the cockpit managers. So it will fetch the password from the browser's cookie. So if you see that the looks and feels are same like SAP Marketplace. When you log into the SAP Marketplace with the OSS ID, you will see like this screens. So it is a Fiori Launchpad. So it takes times to load. Yeah, so it is loaded. Now, so here if you see the non-prod groups is there, so we have created this one, and one database is there, okay, and it is showing the symbols, okay. So just go inside that, okay. Then you will see like this screen, it will appear. Now if you see that here, if you go below, you have to provide a credential. So here you have to enter the credential. This is the one-time credential, okay. Just click on the enter credential, use the same system, and then password welcome one, and then click OK. Okay, now the credential is entered. It is here, it is showing that manage credential. Fine. Okay, now everything is good. Now if you go back and then come again inside, then the credential is maintained. Okay, no issue. Now to monitor, just click your systems. It will show you the all the monitoring screens. So whatever we see in HANA Studio, the same thing you can see in here as well. You can stop the database. If you see that here is the stop is there, you can stop this systemdb HDV from here as well. So it takes time to load because so minimum it required 32 GB of RAM for the HANA cockpit. If the multiple users, multiple basis people, HANA admin teams are accessing, then you should have the good amount of hardware. Okay, fine. So if you see here we can see the status. Okay, service status. The starting demo is starting. Okay, so here you will see the services. You see alerts. You can hear medium alerts. Then memory uses, used memory, then resident memory, like this, and then CPU uses, then disk uses, okay, like this you can see, okay. But this is URL based, okay, but the look and feels are not good as compared to the HANA Studio, okay. So yeah, so here you can stop the database, okay, and you can also, if you want to execute any SQL statements, you can execute from here, open SQL statement. In the database management, if you click here, so let me see what is there inside that. Okay, so nothing, it is showing the same thing here, okay. So here you can allocate the global allocation limit, so you can allocate the memory parameters, you can restrict the memories here. So most of the people are not using the HANA cockpit, most of the customers, okay. There is a reason for that purpose. So yeah, if you see that memory allocation, you can allocate the memory for your systems, and HD1, HD2, whatever it is, okay. So CPU allocation, you can also allocate the CPU to your tenants, okay, from this systemdb, okay. So the most of the people not using because it's involve a cost, okay. So if you see this requires a separate box, separate VM, separate hardware in data centers. So it's only used for the monitoring purpose. Okay, monitoring purpose of the remote database. But it is good if you have this one in your project, because you will log into the HANA cockpit, and then from the HANA cockpit, single login, you can access multiple database without without it asking the password. But this will not benefit to the business. Okay, so business is not most of the project um, the most of the customers, they don't go with the HANA cockpit because it involved the cost. Like for example, the server cost. If they go with the minimum 64 or 32 GB of servers, then it will cost for them for almost a month. If you see the thousands to 75,000 for the servers. Okay, then other charges, network charges, then maintenance charges, then OS team, network team to monitors, all these things. So different costs are involved. So 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 most of the, I have not seen, even in my entire careers in HANA, I have not seen that the people are using the HANA cockpit. Even if you see that, this look and feel is very bad. You even I'm not able to understand what is that Excel, where to go, what to monitors. Okay, so thing is that it's little difficult here. Okay, but for the interview questions and then for the exam preparations, we have to learn this part. Okay, but in the actual project, you won't see the HANA cockpit. The reason only is that it involve the cost. Okay, fine. So here, this URL, you can use this cockpit URL to monitor the database, whatever the database you have integrated. So you can integrate system DB, you can integrate tenant database, anything you can integrate. Okay, so coming back to the cockpit managers. So this any questions till now, guys?
One question.
Yeah.
So since we are adding the system database, tenant database, all of them separately, so it means that all of them can be individually stopped and started from here. Whereas in Studio, we have to go to the system database and then start and stop them.
Um, yeah, correct. So individually, each and every systems you have to log in and then start and stop. But yeah, but here in the HANA cockpit, you just click your system DB and then stop. So here from the HANA cockpit, you can stop your system DB. So tenant database, you cannot stop. You can stop tenant database with the SQL queries. Whatever we do from the HANA Studio, the same thing we can do it. Same things. You can say your tenant database. You can stop same way from the HANA cockpit, but you have to open the SQL consoles. Okay,
We
but
cannot register a database as the tenant database and then have the same option like we are having in
no,
system.
no. Okay, so you won't get the restart options uh, for your tenant database. So if you see that, I'm getting options only if it is system DB, then you will get the options to stop your system database, but you won't get the options for your tenants to stop the tenants. If you see that this is the system DB, that's the reason we are getting the stop buttons. For the tenants, you want to stop the tenant database, you have to from here you have to log into that particular system DB and then open the SQL consoles and then execute the commands for stopping the tenant database. Okay, so here is a little problematic. So it is not if you see that it is not up to date, it is not as per our expectation. So we even I was under the impression that I can start and stop the tenant database, but this is not allowed. That option is not there. Why it is not there? Because tenants are managed by the system DB. Whatever you want to do for your tenants, you have to do it from that system DB only. Okay, otherwise from outside you cannot manage the tenant database. That's the reason only. Okay. Fine. So here, from here you can execute the statement. So if you see that I log in here, okay, like this, and then from here you can execute the commands like this. Here you have to put and then stop your tenant database. Okay, whatever tenant database you want in this particular system DB. Fine. Any other questions?
I have one more question.
Yeah.
So the licensing cost, right? Does it also the cost for the HANA cockpit? Does it depend upon the number of tenant database or systems we are hosting, or is
It
it
is
like
also in memory license.
so the licensing cost and stuffs are separate from the one that we have for our HANA?
Yes, correct. So you have to request the license for the HANA cockpit from the service marketplace, and that is the memory based license. And how to install the license? So if you go to the HANA Studio, just click here and then add your cockpit. So the instance number I use 96, right? Let me see that. Yeah, 96. And then it is multi-tenants, then systems next, and then system users. Welcome on. Let me see if it is allowing. Yeah. So I connected to the cockpit. So HANA cockpit runs on the database, HANA database, and on top of that database, the XXA advanced XXA is installed, and then on top of that cockpit is installed. So if you see here, right click, then go to the property, and here we have the license. This is also the memory based license. So all the HANA product are the in memory based license. Okay, so this is the hardware key you have to use, SIDs, and then register for the license for your memory. For example, if you have the 64 GB or 256 or 1 TB for the HANA cockpit, you can request and then you can install by from here. Okay. If you see for H4C, if you go in the landscape and then services, you will see a lot of services, DI servers, then pre-post, then XX controller, XXA agent, then servers as well. So these all are the additional, which is for basically advanced XA engine. Okay, so if you want to do the complex development, okay, then we required advanced XXA engine. Okay, so HANA cockpit runs on the advanced XXA engine. Fine. Any other questions?
So we cannot stop HANA tenant databases from the cockpit manager or cockpit itself.
No, you cannot.
Okay.
So you can stop through the systemdb because your tenant is managed by the systemdb. Okay, you can monitor your tenant database, but you cannot stop your tenants from the cockpit.
So what is the functionality of that technical user role?
What is the functionality of?
Technical user, while you were creating that, entering systemdb and
Okay,
password.
okay. So that technical users means you can use any user system or copy of the system user who have the full access for your remote systems for monitoring purpose. So it is not use the system, but you can use the copy of the system user with the similar access. At least the users should have the access for monitorings. Okay, monitoring of the system, because from the cockpit you will be monitoring. So that technical user is nothing but it is used between your cockpit and the remote database which you are integrating. Okay, so that user should be present in the remote database. So the name is given technical users, so nothing else. So only it's the name. It is a database users. Okay. So they have given just technical names. Okay. Any other questions before I move to the next cockpit users? Fine. Okay. So the cockpit users. Okay. So this the cockpit underscore admin having the full access. If you have the cockpit underscore admin, you can do anything. You can register, unregister, you can delete, you can do anything. Okay, you can delete your tenants from the HANA cockpit managers. So we don't want, if you don't want to give this cockpit underscore admin users credential to the your L1 or L2 supports, okay, for monitoring, then you can create a users for them and you can provide a limited access. Okay, so you can provide only access for the Fury Launchpad URLs, okay, for monitoring. So how to create? Just click on the cockpit users. Inside that, if you see that only one is there, that is the uh, cockpit admin. The session is expired. Let me refresh. Yeah, cockpit users. So one user is there, cockpit as for admin, and it having the full access. Now we will create additional users who can monitor the URLs. So we will not give the cockpit manager access. So click on the create users, and then here you can provide the user's name. Like I'm providing Abdul, then password, whatever the password you want to specify, an email address, and then click next. Now here you have to specify the rules. So cockpit administrator rules. So if you give this one, then the user will get the cockpit manager access for modifying the cockpit settings. Cockpit database administrator. Okay, if you give this one, then user will get complete access for registering, creating database, assigning cockpit users, creating cockpit users, okay, to the cockpit managers. Okay, so don't give anything related to cockpit manager. If you see that wherever you see the cockpit manager don't give. So by default the cockpit user is selected. Okay, So monitoring specific database through the SAP HANA Cockpit Launchpad. You specify this one. If you allow these users to register database, allow these users to manage database, then these users can register the remote database in the cockpit managers. Also, they can manage the database. So don't give this one. Okay, only give the monitoring roles for your L1 or L2 supports. Okay, and then step 3, and then if you want to specify the groups names, you can specify, that is the optional, that is not mandatory. And then go below and then create the users. So like this you can create n number of users, and you can give this URLs, I'm talking about the first one, this one. So using this URL, user can log in and the user can see the database which are integrated in the cockpit managers, and they can monitor. Okay, so 2 users are there, so you can create n numbers of. So in the active cockpit settings, if you open, the default settings are there, we don't change anything. Okay, like proxy connections, okay, SSO, Kerberos, early watch alerts, so these are there, so we don't go there to change anything, so do not change anything. Okay, if it is required, then do. Active session, if you click on the active session, so 2 session is active with this user ID. Okay, so it is initializing, so it is just fetching the data what this user is doing actually. So it's very simple, the HANA cockpit, the integrations. Okay, but monitoring part is little, it is also simple but little, it is not user friendly. So yeah, so see, this is initializing, fine, no show. So here you will see that whatever the session is open, the active session by the users, you can see here. Fine, so this is all about the HANA cockpit 2.0. So yeah, that much topic we have in this HANA cockpit. So interview questions, they ask many questions on the how you can register, how you can integrate your database in HANA cockpit. So they will give that option, register database, database groups, like this. So yeah, so like this they will ask in interview questions, and then also in the exams, global exams. So some basics questions will come with the with HANA cockpit managers, HANA cockpit 2.0. Yeah, any questions? Okay, so no questions. So let me go through my course content. I'll show you that what everything is completed. Okay, so
The distributed system you told in a session that you will be showing like
distributed
that,
system
like all.
means scale out. I explained that the scale out, the fail the host auto failovers, that is nothing but a distributed. So if you see my course content, so distributed installation is not possible here. Okay, because it required multiple servers. Okay, and there also we will face yeah, so minimum 3 systems we required. So practical for the distributed is not possible. Yeah,
Okay.
so Yeah, so introduction I completed, preparation also completed, installation, post installation, admin tools, then HANA operations, memory management, technical deployment, backup and recovery is also completed, users, MDC, HANA scalability concept, then HADR, then HANA system replications. Okay, so here I mentioned that these all these things. What is SAP HANA host failover? So I have not mentioned any of the configurations. Yeah. So yeah, so operation mode everything covered. Then HANA cockpit 2.0, that is covered. Then HANA to migrations, HANA migration with DMO.
So
For
DMO is also completed.
yeah, last to last.
Oh, okay.
So for the HANA cockpit upgrade, for example, if you are going for the HANA cockpit upgrade, then the upgrade procedure is same. Okay, so just download the HANA cockpit 2.0, the latest support pack. Okay, extract it, and um, then you do the upgrade. So whatever upgrade we have done for the HANA database, the same process we have to follow. Okay, so upgrading is also simple for the HANA cockpit 2.0. So this is all about the HANA database administrator. Yeah.
Sir, what is the advantage of HANA for using a HANA Cockpit 2.0? Or means like if we use Studio, then is there any advantage using HANA Cockpit?
Advantages means you will not get, you don't need to install any software on your laptops. So HANA Cockpit is based on the URLs. Okay, you just open URLs, type the, you just open the browsers and type the URLs, and then you can use it. Okay. For the
Okay.
HANA Studio, you have to install HANA Studio on your laptops or desktops. Okay, and then yeah, so that is the only the difference. But most of the organization, if you see in your current projects as well, they might not be using the HANA Cockpit 2.0 because it's involved the cost, the maintenance and the cost and all that. Did you see the HANA Cockpit Manager in your uh, project?
No.
No.
Well, I have
Yes.
seen many questions regarding this in this
Yeah,
exam, like global exam.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
sample.
Yeah. So exams, yeah, the questions will be there for the exam in the exams. Yeah. So, but those are very simple. How to register, then yeah, basic questions. Okay, like this. So, what are the questions? Can you tell me if you remember? Yeah, Rakesh. Do you remember any questions about this one?
Yeah. Give me 1 minute. Let me open that PDF file. Like, I'll tell you.
Okay, so it is in the PDF file. Okay, fine. So you will be having the answer for that as well, right?
Yeah, that I have I have those answered, but which prerequisites must you consider to rename a tenant database in the SAP HANA cockpit?
In the SAP
Is
HANA
the
cockpit
like
to rename the tenant database.
yeah,
And what are the options?
options are the tenant database is stopped. The tenant database must be unloaded from memory. The
Mm.
on-disk tenant directory should be a mount point in the database that is not in the move operation.
What is that? That is the first option. Should be stopped to rename.
And the last one also, the database that is not in move operation.
What is the
I
last one?
the database not is that is not in move operation.
Okay, okay.
There are
So
some
that is the
and
basic one. Yeah. So yeah,
yeah, that is basic.
yeah. So to move to rename your tenants, you should stop your tenants. Okay. like this. So some basics are there. So okay, so you'll so you your own face. So fine, this is all about the course for the HANA admin. So I completed everything, so I have not missed anything. So if you feel that, then you can connect with me if you have any questions, doubt. Okay. And if you get some time, then I request you that you just provide me some feedbacks on here on this at the end, and you can comment out, and then you can post your feedback over here.
Yes, sir, one more thing, sir. Like, can
Yeah.
you take another session for like for doubt clearing, like maybe for actually the overall doubt clearing session?
Yeah, yeah, no issue. I'll take it. Okay.
And will the server be available for next week? Means like this week?
Yes, so this week I can manage. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So
So yeah,
this
yeah,
week
good.
means the weekdays or the weekend.
Sorry, come again.
So this week means Monday to Friday, as in the server will be available.
Yeah, yeah. So whenever you need, just ping me. I'll start.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the same. So yeah, so one thing I'm um, uh, just a minute. So if you guys interested for the S4 HANA, so I'm going to start the S4 HANA the course as well as S4 HANA and the Fury. Okay. So if you guys interested, then I will show you that the course content what I'm going to cover. Okay. So this will not be a practical. So this will be a totally PPT base, because the server cost is very huge for the S4 HANA and the Fury. It's required minimum 128 GB of RAM. So I checked the cost. So it is going around 75,000 per month. Okay, because the storage is also there and all that. So 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 I have all the screenshot. Okay, so from start to end, whatever we do for the installation and all that. Okay, so I'll show you that what is the course content. So this is the course content for the S4 HANA. So here we'll see what is the S4 HANA, then introduction, the history of the S4 HANA evolutions, then architectures, then simplification data modules, what is different between ECC, okay, what is the Fury for S4 HANA, so what is embedding Fury, then standalone Fury, the Fury Launchpad, Fury application types, a lot of things are there. Then systems architectures for business suites. So earlier we had a business suites like ECC, EHP, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then after that we the ACP released the S4 HANA. Okay, so what is different, so how it is started, what are the component in the ECC, then S4 HANA. Okay, so those will be there. Okay, and then what is the suites on HANA, we call sometimes SOH. So what is different between the ACP ERP, then S4 HANA, then SOH, then S4 HANA installation and preparations. So SWPM, what is SWPM, SAP is, then preparation of the SAP system installations, then SAP recommendations. So SAP recommended to use the virtual host names, then pre-checks, then what are the steps, what are the pre things you can keep in mind if you're installing the SAP on the Windows operating systems, and the same for the Linux operating systems. Then the how much swaps we need to configure for the Unix, what are the file systems are supported. Okay, and then HANA 2.0 and OS release support matrix. Okay, so what are the OS version and the HANA version are supported on which version, so everything. Then HANA DB recommendation settings. Okay, so OS settings it is. then file systems requirement for the apps and the DB. So these all we this all is involved in the if you are working with end-to-end projects. So these all as a basis team consultant that we do. Okay, then yeah, what is the left? Yeah, then HTTP HANA hardware and the cloud measurement tools. So this we have to run for the HANA database. So this is the hardware checks for the HANA database, whether the database, whether the hardware, the VMs are provided by the hardware that is compatible with the database or not. So that checks we do. Okay, that we call the HANA hardware compatibility checks. Okay, so these are the prerequisites we do before installation of the S4 HANA systems. And then the maintenance planners. Once done, then how to download the maintenance planner, what is maintenance planner, how to generate maintenance planner, then what is the XML files, and then the installing the database, then live cache. Okay, so live cache is required for the S4 HANA. Then installing the SAP Furies, okay, using this sum. Okay, then S4 HANA post installations, so a lot of things are there. Okay, okay, then yes, these are the post installations, creating the configuring the STMS, then releasing the background jobs. Okay, lot of things are there. Then installing SAP and HANA database. Okay, lot of things are there. Then SAP Fury system landscapes. Okay, how to configure the SAP Furies. Uh, uh, so once the system is installed, add-on is installed for the Furies. So we do the Fury configurations. Okay, Fury Launchpad configurations. We enable the systems as for HANA systems to usable as a Fury. Okay, so there are a lot of configuration steps are there. Okay, so we activate the enterprise search, then we activate the S4 HANA embedding analytics, then we activate the gateway and the Furies. Okay, then we run the foundation task list. Okay, then once done, then we validate the Fury configurations. Okay, so these all are the steps for the Fury administrator. Okay, and then the web dispatcher. So web dispatcher is also play a very important roles in S4 HANA. So through the SAP web dispatcher we access the SAP Fury Launchpad. So SAP the web dispatcher we can have we have the integrated web dispatcher in ASCS. So what things we have to configure for the web dispatchers, integrated web dispatchers, and this is the how to install and to configure the standalone web dispatchers. So this web dispatcher is basically used for redirecting the URLs to your backend. So standalone SAP web dispatcher we require basically if you if somebody want access to SAP Fury from outside your network, that is in through the internet, okay, or from the mobiles. Okay, so we cannot give access to the integrated the web dispatchers. Okay, so we install the standalone web dispatcher in DM zone. Okay, and then we do the URL redirect configuration, so that this will be internet facing, and my S4 HANA and the Fury will be inside the company networks. Okay, so whoever access from the outside mobile or through internet, those user will come to the external facing URLs, external facing a web dispatcher which is installed in the DM zone, and from there the web dispatcher will send a request to the backend like S4 HANA and the Fury, and then the users get the response from the only from the SAP web dispatcher standalone. Okay, so this is we keep for the we use this is for the the security purpose. We don't want the people directly access my internal networks. Okay, so this is something called demilitarized zone. Okay, DM zone we call. So if somebody want access, then they have to come through the DM zone. Okay, so your internal the servers will be restricted. So this all end to end we do when we go with the S4HANA implementation. So these all are the end to end. Okay, so also in this one, few topics is not there. Okay, so I will show you that. Where is just a minute. If you see that PPT, so in the PPT many things are there, like what is the difference, so what is the new in S4 HANA for the basis. Okay, so that is things is there. Okay, I'll show you that. So these all are the, you know, what is the feature pack. So in S4 HANA we call a feature pack, we never we don't see a support pack. So in ECC we have the support package stacks, but in S4 HANA we have the feature package stacks. So what is that? So that is the difference between ECC and all that. Okay, then embedding. Okay, these all these things. Then hub deployments. Okay, these all the series, and then this is the architectures. Okay, and then here if you see yeah, installations. Okay, I'll show you that. Yeah, this is also fine. So this is the new things, SAP tune and SAP configurations we do for implementation projects or upgrade or S4 HANA conversions. Okay, so everything is covered related to the end to end implementation. So yeah, so this is the HCMT tools which is used to checks the hardwares. Okay, whether the hardware is compatible or not. Yeah, so here what is new in S4 HANA system for basis administrator. Okay, so what is new for the basis? So so a lot of things are there. So I have clubbed everything in one PPT. So supported operating systems. So in S4 HANA, only Linux, and if you see this side is supported, this is not supported. Okay, so not supported, sorry, this is not supported. If you set only the Windows, Linux, AIX and the Linux for power little Indian are supported, that is the IBM Linux is supported. Others are not supported for the S4 HANA. Okay, like this. Then cleaning the absolute SAP profiles. So there are some profiles which are absolute in the S4 HANA. Okay, so those is there. Okay, okay, so we have the new T code called S maintenance. Okay, in S4 HANA, you can create a maintenance the window, maintenance period, and then you define the timings for the maintenance. Whenever the users log in, then user get a screen that like this. The system is generally not available for at this times. Okay, if you set the maintenance mode in the S4 HANA. So if user is trying, if you do some maintenance activity and you don't want users to log into your systems, if user trying to log in and if you set the maintenance, then user will see this message. Okay, the system is under maintenance. So this is the new feature in the S4 HANA. And then client copy tools. So we have the new client copy tools. Okay, so if you see that older one SCC, these all these things, but new are SCC and okay, so these are the new the client copy tools in the S4 HANA. Then memory quota and the soft dumps for the memory consumptions. Okay, so that is also the new things introduced. Okay, so many times we see that TSV new page allocation field. So this is basically the issue with the internal tables. So custom code is there. They have the issue with the custom code. And okay, so before occurring of this dumps in S4HANA, it will notify you early. Okay, so we have to set the some quota. Once you set the quota, then you will start notifying the you know the allocation of your extended memory and the heap memory. If it is getting full, then you will get alerts that you will soon getting the these dumps, okay, with so and so user id something kind of. So this kind of things we have in S4 HANA. Okay, so yeah, so here we can exclude the users from the memory quota. So we can define the memory quotas. Okay, we can exclude the memory quotas for the some users. Okay, so then the ABAP push channels, web sockets. So this is basically in S4 HANA, you don't need if you are connecting to the other systems which is outside of network. Okay, so you don't need to establish the VPNs or VPN connections or IP sec connections. Okay, so you can directly uh, configure. So new RFC is there. If you see here, this RFC connection to the other ABAP system using the web sockets. So you don't need to open any you don't need any VPNs connectivity between two different networks. Okay, so this is the VPN tunnel is no longer is required for the RFC connection across the business networks. Okay, so VPN tunnel is not required if you have two different systems on two different network. Okay, so two different office, two different data centers, then you don't require the VPN connectivity if you want to establish the connections between the uh, between source and the targets. Only you need to open the ports, that is the gateway port you have to open in the firewalls, but you don't require any VPN tunnels. Okay, so that saves. So that is the additional the feature in the S4HANA. Then user management, technical users versus business users. What is different between that one? Okay, then job scheduling. So there's a new the methods for the job scheduling. Okay, so we don't have the standard jobs. So standard jobs is automatically scheduled once we install the S4HANA systems. And then what is the new in S4 HANA? So these all things, lot of things are there. Okay, so let's give the complete end to end. Okay, about um, about totally about your S4 HANA. But this will not be practicals because the cost of the servers is very high. Okay, so I have the screenshot about how to generate the maintenance planners. Everything I have. Okay, I have everything screenshot what step by steps. So if you follow this all these things, then you can easily able to do the installations and all that. So if you see here, we have the installations. Okay, step by steps installation are there. Okay, so here everything is captured, each and every screenshot. Okay, from maintenance planner to S4HANA installation, then Fury installations. Okay, then some, if you see that using the sum we do the Fury installations. Yeah. Okay, so yeah,
Yes,
then
sir,
after
how
that
long does it take to install and post for post configuration
almost
in real life? Sir?
yeah, so almost it takes a week. Okay, to complete your S4HANA and then Fury everything. So almost a week it takes. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, so a lot of things are there in S4HANA. Like this is the big one. This take a lot of times. This is the S4HANA. This is the Fury. If it's a SAP Fury rapid activation. Okay, so this is something which takes time. So yes, so a lot of things are there inside this one.
So, 75,000 you are talking about for a monthly cost for 730 hours.
Yeah, for complete month, you know, I check in the this cloud
What is the
charges.
minimum requirement? Like what are
28
the
GB.
server?
128 GB you required for S4HANA 2020. So this is S4HANA 2020 screenshot.
Okay. And what is the CPU requirement?
CPU is requirement is minimum 8 CPU is required.
Okay.
Okay. 8 CPU, or if you have more than, so basically 2 CPU is required per 16 GB. Okay. So uh, so 128 if you divide by 16, then how much come? That much of the CPU we require. Basically, if you see that in lump sum. So
More than
this, yeah. So these are the web dispatcher configurations. So then here is standalone web dispatcher installation. So everything is covered. How to download DVDs, softwares, extractions, everything is there. Okay, which we use. So all end to end is there inside that. If you guys interested, then let me know that then I can start. Okay, but this will be all PPT base. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Do you also have the screenshots of the SI check and generation?
SH checks is basically not for the S4HANA installation. It is for the brownfield. If you are going with the ECC migration, ECC to S4HANA conversions. Okay, so that is also I will start. Okay, in some time. Okay, so I'll share that one. So so this is all about greenfield. Okay, for the brownfield. Okay, so I have as well. This is we call S4HANA conversions and upgrade. Okay, so yeah, so here is also there. So everything is there inside that one. You are talking about this one. I'll maximize. So, but before this one, conversion should first go with the S4 HANA greenfield, so that you will come to know that what are the things are available in S4 HANA. This will be easy for you for the conversion. So if you see here SI checks, you are talking about the simplification checks. So this we call a readiness checks. Okay, maintenance planner, then SI checks, the custom codes. Yeah. Okay, so everything is there. So this is one of the screenshot from the project. So this is the we call readiness checks. Okay, so here simplification item, then a lot of things are there. This will you will come to know that once you will clear with about S4 HANA. Okay, so yeah, so add-on. So what are the add-on is compatible? So 9 add-on is compatible, 37 is unknown. Okay, like this you will get once you run the simplification item, you will get the output like this. So what are the business function is activated on your systems? Okay, how many business function will be available in this S4 HANA, something kind of. So those information you will get. The sizing also you will get. It also do the sizings. Okay, you'll get the sizing reports as well for SI checks. Okay, so you can increase and decrease. If you decrease your database, and if you consider the future growth, then your size will increase. So for example, if you in the SI checks, if you give number of years and then the values growth for per month, for example 10% or 5% per year growth, then this that much of amount of additional memory you required. And this is below is the the data volume reduction. So if you have done any reduction, for example data volume reduction, if you are planning to reduce 1 TB of data, for example, then you can put and then you can add it. So it will give you the complete information how much memory you require. So this memory and that memory plus addition you require. Okay, so here custom code. So how many custom codes are there? So these all custom codes need to be analyzed by the ABAPers. Okay, so some of the custom codes are supported and some are not supported in the S4 HANA. Okay, so whatever the custom code they have in the ECC, those all will be listed here. Okay, like this. So a lot of things are there. So everything. So maintenance planner, if you see that, the maintenance planner is also part of the readiness checks. So what is the maintenance planners? What is the simplification items? Okay, so which checks are relevant, which checks are not relevant. Okay, so when we do for the actual S4 HANA conversion through the sum, then the sums also does the SI checks. If it's find anything inconsistent, like these errors, then sum will stop. Okay, some will not go ahead, some will give the error that the SI checks is incomplete. Okay, so the functional team have to make sure that all the checks are greens. Okay, they have to remove all the errors, so whatever the errors they have to check, and then they have to correct it. Okay, and then only the SI checks will complete, and then some will allow you to upgrade your ECC to the S4 HANA. Okay, so basically SI checks talk about what will be supported and what will not be supported, what is supported in S4 HANA after conversion, and what will not support after the S4 HANA. So some codes and the business functionality will be absolute in S4 HANA. So those things you will get it complete details in the SI checks. Okay, like this. So a lot of things are there. So this S4 HANA conversion PPT is not updated. Okay, so soon I will update it. I'm not getting the time for the PPT update and the starting of the new batch for the S4 conversion and this all these things. Also, I'm also planning for the OSDB migrations. Okay, but PPT is not ready for me. So yeah, these all things. Okay, fine. So if you guys interested, then you ping me. Then we can plan, and then yeah. Fine. Any question, guys? Before I close for today.
So the conversion is a separate course and
Yes. Yeah. So S4 HANA is the greenfield installation is separate course, then conversion is separate course, and if you are interested for the OSDB migration, that is also a separate course. But if you want, we can merge S4 HANA greenfield and then brownfield, both we can merge in one. Okay. So guys, one request. So go to that my website and then just give me some reviews, whatever you feel. Okay. On my website. At the end, we have the comment sections. So if you feel, then you can provide me some reviews or feedback. Yeah. So here you can put the comments and then you can submit.
So
Okay.
definitely I'll do that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. So we'll disconnect for today. Thank you so much for all your patience. Okay. So if you have any doubt, then you reach out to me, and if you need any help, then you just ping me or paste the errors, or if I'm not available, if not I'm not responding, maybe that on the same on maybe that I'll respond maybe on next day. Okay, because of my busy schedules, but definitely I will respond to your pings and all that. Yeah, fine, then we'll disconnect for today. Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks
Okay,
all.
thank you.
I'll share the PPT, sorry, the recordings here. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thank
All the
you.
best. Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Okay.